In this video, we're going to be covering the calf complex, which includes the two heads of the gastrocnemius and then the deep soleus beneath. Okay? So we're going to start with our heat sleeve. We want to heat the tissue up. Always check the temperature before you apply it to anyone's body. Okay? From the previous videos, you understand how we use this from wrist to elbow or elbow to wrist. Move slowly up. Let's just start right through the center of the muscle. I'm going to do a couple of passes. And you notice I didn't check my second pass. That's because his body has already absorbed most of the heat, so I know it's not going to be too hot. But when the sleeve's sitting around, not making contact with the body, that's when it supercharges and gets really hot, so you need to check. Okay, we can feel his tissue. See that it's already warming up. Okay. Once you get it to a nice temperature, we're going to take our non-sleeve arm, establish the pressure. We talked about this in other videos. Set your pressure before we start moving and try to maintain that pressure throughout the whole stroke. The reason for that is if you're bouncing under pressure, if it's shifting constantly as you move up, the patient is not going to uncomfortable. Relax. Okay. One more thing I want to show. Medial head, lateral head, in order to get to them easier, we spin from his hip, and then we could just bring that closer to us a little bit easier. If you want to do the lateral, make sure you clear his knee from the table, spin, and now we have direct access to the lateral head. It's a little easier than me having to spin my body around, okay? So I'm gonna have you start neutral.
Okay. Is there a reason that we're rotating from the hip?
It's really important that we rotate from the hip. If we don't, the knee doesn't rotate, it's much more of a hinge joint, although there is some rotation. We have to get the rotation from his hip or we're gonna get torque in his knee, okay? So just clear it, the quad, rotate. Okay. And let's start neutral. Okay, let's start with your heat. Check your sleeve.
Going wrist to elbow. Right?
Wrist to elbow. We want to take the heat from the entire surface of the sleeve. If we leave a little bit untouched, it will superheat. Okay, as we talked about in previous videos. Great, feel it. It feels nice.
Tissue's
it's more comfortable for him. Okay, with your contact arm.
Establish my pressure. Establish
your pressure. Also notice that Jacob's hand palm his face down. That actually softens the forearm a little bit so that he's not on his ulna bone directly on the gastrocs. They are sensitive. Because they're postural muscles and they're firing all the time, they're sensitive muscles. They have a tendency to get tight and cramped, and that has to do with just constant overuse. The fibers of the gastrocnemius are very, very dense, which is what makes them difficult to build. If you're into building your calves, it's complicated because of the density of the fibers. Okay, so Jake checked his sleeve to make sure it's not too hot. Gonna heat that tissue up again. By the time we do a couple of passes, that tissue's cooling down, so we want to keep it at a certain temperature up. Before you do that, I want you to actually turn it. Okay. So let's do lateral. Okay. So externally rotate that hip. Perfect, great. Good, that's good.
Is there a recommended number of passes?
It's not necessarily just heat. Different body parts will absorb the heat differently. I also found that people who are hydrated tend to pick up the heat better than people who are not hydrated, and we see a lot of dehydrated bodies coming in to see us.
Interesting.
Obviously, certain areas like the inner thighs are going to be more sensitive. Areas that are more exposed to the environment are less sensitive. Legs and arms, things like that. Low backs can be sensitive.
How's that speed?
It's great. Okay, we're going to just stop right here. We're not going to go into the popliteal at all. Great. Good. Okay, we just did the gastrocnemius. We're now going to go for the soleus, which is deep to the gastrocnemius. Gastrocnemius crosses both joints, knee and ankle. It's a two-joint muscle. We'll talk about that later. First thing I'm going to do is just remove the bolster. And I am going to put my leg here. See, we need to slap gastroc. Jacob, hand me a towel, please. I'm going to just put a towel here, so when you guys are working, you don't get lotion all over yourself here, just protect. Also, it gives a little padding on your leg, okay? So this position is going to slack gastroc. It's going to allow me to get in a little bit deeper to get to the soleus, okay? So let's heat. We'll start always with our heat. Okay. And I'm going to come in here.
You're emphasizing still palm down contact.
Still palm down. If I want to go a little more, because I need to penetrate through the gastroc, I can come a little bit more side.
Okay.
Elijah, are you okay? Okay, so it's basically the same idea. We just got that angle of the knee.
Just change his position.
Change position a little bit.
Check the heat.
Check your heats. Good. Nice. Slow down just a bit. Let the body absorb that heat. Good. Establish your pressure and then just slowly. Nice. The pace is really nice.
Is there a reason that we go a little slower?
As you penetrate deeper, we need to go slower. It's more comfortable.